And joining us now is Connecticut's Attorney General William Tong. Attorney General, thanks for joining us. Your state was part of this case before the International Trade Court. You netted a victory, but then it was paused by the appeals court. So help us understand, how long could this battle go on?
Well, I think we're going to get into court pretty quickly on this. And it wasn't a block. You said it was a pause. It was a big win, and it moved pretty quickly. This wasn't a temporary restraining order. It's not a preliminary injunction. This is a final judgment that says what everybody knows. Congress has the power over tariffs, Article 1, Section 8, as Gene said in the prior segment. And the president doesn't have the power unilaterally under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA, to assess tariffs all over the world on countries for which no one has declared an emergency. And so it's so unconstitutional, so unlawful, that it didn't take long for this federal court, the Court of International Trade, to determine that this had to be stopped. And it's going to the federal circuit. They paused it. It's an administrative stay just to give everybody time to file their papers and get ready to go to court and go before a United States Court of Appeal. And we feel confident about our chances there because we think the court will see it the same way.
The administration had tried to argue in one court filing that blocking these tariffs, quote, would cause significant and irreparable harm to U.S. foreign policy and national security, adding that negotiations with trading partners are in a, quote, delicate state. Now, the judge apparently didn't buy that argument, but what's your reaction to the administration trying to convince the courts that this is why they should let the tariffs stay in place?
Frankly, it's hard to overstate how much harm, how much irreparable harm the president and this tariff action has done already to states, to Connecticut families and small businesses. You know, if these tariffs are able to proceed, just the 12 states that are in our coalition in this case, we might have to pay more than $3.4 billion more over the next year. Just the states, that's taxpayers in our 12 states. And you think about the damage that's being done right now to Connecticut families. I have 3 teenagers, 19, 16, 13. As we look forward to, we're going into summer, but we're going to have to buy clothing, shoes, school supplies. A lot of that comes from overseas, China, Canada, Europe. We need a new car in our family. That's something that we're looking forward to over the next year, year and a half. Those prices for cars are already up 12% or more. Food, particularly ethnic food. I'm a Chinese American, and a lot of the stuff that we buy for meals, nights, weekends, holidays, a lot of that comes from overseas, and the price of that is skyrocketing. And never mind, in Connecticut, we have a lot of big manufacturers. We have Sikorsky that makes Black Hawk helicopters. We have Electric Boat that makes nuclear submarines, Pratt Whitney that makes jet engines. Think about the price of material for all of those companies to make products, national security, defense-related products that are vital for our national security and to protect the American people. How much more expensive that is getting.
Attorney General, you and I have talked before about your family's story coming from China and immigrating to the U.S. So I want to get your reaction to the breaking news from the Supreme Court this morning, which will allow the White House to end protections for over 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela while the appeals process plays out. Your reaction?
Yeah, not only that, but I think you're going to talk about a 4-year-old who may lose life-saving health care. You've got Chinese students who are being targeted right now, international students that are so vital to higher education here in this country. And then, of course, the birthright case. I was in the Supreme Court a couple of weeks ago. And the implications of all of these action decisions, it boils down to what happens to these people, to children who are sick, to students, to families if they lose their status. Where do they go? Do they become stateless? What will they do about work, about housing? And we know the federal government doesn't have the manpower to ship 12, 15, 20 million people, whatever their crazy number is, out of this country and to process those people. And so what are we going to have? We're going to have random attacks on people in the streets like we saw in Worcester, Massachusetts, not far from where I'm sitting right now. It's starting to feel not just uncertain, but for many people, for many families, like a terror state and a police state. And that's not the United States of America.
Connecticut Attorney General William Tong, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.